For exclusive content that Shakaama offers, join us over at Patreon as supporter of the Shakaama Live Show. That's video content you won't see on YouTube that can help you grow and maintain your wealth, financial education wrapped up in plain English, and video series of interesting and thought-provoking topics. Join us at bit.ly/PatronShack. It's the first link in the information box. Thank you for tuning in to the Shakaama Live Show with your host, Shakaama. This should be a vlog. I should bust out the camera, but the reason I don't bust out the camera all the time is because I have to videotape and mic and record and upload all of that to my computer, then take it to my video editing software, then remove the sound portion and take that to my sound editing software, edit the sound, add it back to the video, edit the video, add effects, add the intro, the exit, any text, and the stupid text takes a lot of time. I have to do this and that and the other. Then I have to choose the font, and I have to say how big it is, where it goes, does it move, does it jiggle? Anyway, this is much easier. So I've been accused of being a pickup artist. Well, let me give you the context of why this person is saying this. Because I said in a video talking about feminists and women acting silly and the women trying to treat men as playthings when it's the woman that chases the man. It's not the man that chases a woman. And me saying that also infuriated a whole bunch of women because they think that they're the ones to be No. The man gets prepared to go out by putting on clothes and leaving. The woman makes an entire day of it. Shopping for various items, makeup, hair, just the whole 9 yards. A man literally, even for a special occasion, unless it requires some sort of uniform, like a tuxedo, he will literally go to his closet, put whatever he wants on, and then leave the house. That's about it. Maybe he will shower. If he thinks he's good to go, he'll walk out the door. It's the woman who does all of this stuff. Now, just by me saying that, and all that means is that I'm pointing out social constructs. I'm not saying anything about women. I'm not saying anything about men. I'm simply pointing out social constructs. The women are taught this weird double standard of you can't admit that you're a slut. You can't admit that you chase men. You can't admit that you're boy crazy. But you're boy crazy. You're a slut. You chase men. But you can't admit it. Somehow admitting that, and I think it's just an American society. I've lived overseas. I lived in France. At no point would you saying to a woman you chase men, would she ever go, nuh-uh? She'll be all like, yes, I do, or no, I don't. Or yes, I'm boy crazy, or no, I'm not. It wouldn't be a thing of conversation. But in the United States, where everything is puritanical and you hate your body and being naked is a sin and you have this weird, stupid, religious, crazy, just insane, like 11th century crap, 11th century European crap. Africa didn't suffer under this retardedness, just the complete misery of psychosomatic syndromes on the entire population where you're made to be ashamed and that sex is a bad thing, but somehow the planet has 6 billion, 7 billion people on it walking around, and we're all supposed to pretend that we magically appeared. Just such an idiotic society, to such a degree that now you have feminists going around shaming women for being women. As if religion wasn't enough of a friggin' mind blow. I don't know how to say that without cursing. It's a curse word. I don't curse. I don't know if you know my channel. As if that weren't enough of a psyop, that religion shames you, makes you feel ashamed, and says sex is a sin. Here's the deal. Marriage is fantastic. It's a fantastic social, man-made construct. Why? Because it lends itself to a polite society where literally if you observe the rules of marriage, you will not have chaos in the land. You agree to a contract between you and your husband, you and your wife, that you promise to only stay with each other. And if everybody makes this same sort of promise, then we won't have fools running around shooting each other or shooting themselves or shooting their spouse. It is very tidy. Marriage is very tidy. And then when the children come, which is the whole point of marriage, you know who's gonna get the stuff when I leave the planet. Well, it's gonna be the kids. That's who's gonna get it. Very tidy, very neat. Getting government involved has just completely messed this all up beyond any sort of recognizable tidy and neat thing. And then you have the feminists come along and just add fuel to the burning lava of the situation that was tidy and neat. John is marrying Jill. End of story. All right? Joseph, Peter, Daniel, all of y'all, be aware that Jill is now belongs to John. Sarah, Susie, and Samantha understand that John now belongs to Jill. Hands off. Okay, simple construct. Now, why did they call me a pickup artist? Because I said I can get you any woman you want. I can get you that woman. I can teach you how to get that woman. And they say, oh, that's a pickup artist. No, that's called psychology. It's basic psychology. I took about 1/3 of my entire college career, because it was political science, right? So you got to know some psychology. 1/3 of my entire degree was in psychology. I don't believe in psychology. Literally all they have done is simply written down observations that probably 1,000 gossipy women could tell you. Literally. It's just observation, human observation. It's nothing magical and it's not scientific because the human brain is not orderly. Humans are chaos. We don't have instincts, which means a very set form of behaviors. We don't have instincts, so humanity is chaos. That's why we have people confused about all sorts of things that I won't go into. I know you're very sensitive about your confusion, and if anybody calls you confused, you get highly upset. So I won't mention it, because that's your society that you live in, the American society where sex is taboo, and so it comes eking out into all of these, into the cracks and crevices, and then when you do all of this stuff in the cracks and crevices, you feel ashamed, and now it all comes falling back down to your brainwashing to begin with, which is that you're ashamed of sex. You're ashamed of nudity. You're ashamed of the human body. And you're ashamed of all sorts of stuff. Literally, I have my roommates brought in people and like about an hour after having them in, I said, you know what? Tell you what. You're a dude. I'm a dude. I'm hot. I'm taking off my clothes. I don't care if you're ashamed or you're embarrassed. I'm taking off my clothes. It's a done. I grew up in boarding schools and stuff like that, and I was in the military and stuff like that, so I am not ashamed of taking off my clothes in front of another 100 guys. So you deal with any embarrassment because I am freaking hot. I'm taking my clothes off. I'm keeping my underwear on, but you're a guy, and you're about my age, so we're about brotherly age, so don't get it twisted, you know. I just don't have these constructs, especially in my own sanctuary, which is where I live, right? But human psychology is simple observation of humanity. And I said, I can put you into a situation where more than likely, at the end of it, it's going to turn romantical. She might kiss you, she might hug you, or she might even look up to you in a certain way that she did not look up to you beforehand. What is that? Here's a real social experiment that people do not do. And I'm not talking about these stupid guys who make these fake videos, fake prank videos, or these fake social experiment video. Why are they fake? Because everybody in the video are actual paid actors. They're not going up and kissing random women. That is considered rape, especially if the woman doesn't want to be kissed. That's considered rape. It's crime. So I'm talking about a real social experiment. And what would that be? This has been done, and you have seen these if you looked, where a guy wanted a girl so much, and they were already dating, the ones that I saw of this. But this is just a really good example of it. They were already dating, but I think he knew that she was not ready for marriage, but he was. And so they locked them in I think they put it in a movie too. They locked them in a room. Not that they just locked them in a room. It was like the entire building shut down and everything was locked. And it was in a secure place where you couldn't just open up the door. But he had already in his backpack like food and drinks and stuff like that. And so, because he was the provider, you see how very basic and very sort of like caveman-like, how instinctual this is. He's the provider. He bust open his backpack, and lo and behold, he has food and drinks, and they were there all night long. They were being observed on hidden camera. They were there all night long, and they talked. And so what's the dynamic? What's going on here? Proximity. You're very near each other in a very tight environment, just a single room. There is an element of danger. So they're locked in the room, and the element of danger is ostensibly if the room had been locked for days and days and days on end, they could die. But even so, just it being locked for even just a night, it's an element of danger that the human brain perceives as danger, right? This is not safe. Safe is me getting out of this room and going home and getting in my bed. That's safe. Being in a strange building, being locked up in a room accidentally triggers off some psychological fires, right? And then you have the male provider come to the rescue with food and drinks so that they enjoyed themselves. Literally, door open, he proposes, she says yes. It's real simple, basic stuff. Same thing with friendships with guys. Same thing. It's proximity, element of danger, and being in it together. And you will share things. You become a confidant immediately because of the element of danger. This is something that they do in the military all day long. What is boot camp really? Putting a bunch of guys in close proximity, element of danger. They become confidential with each other. And this is human psychology over and over and over and over again. Really simple, basic stuff. So easy. Even a caveman can do it. Even an Army staff sergeant can do it. I was in the Air Force. Even an Army staff sergeant, even a Marine TI can do it. Do they call the Marine TI? Do they call them TIs in the Marines? I don't know. Is not the least intelligent branch? I know I'm going to get a whole bunch of hate from that. Oh my God, you call Marines unintelligent. Well, for the longest time, you all actually got criminals to be sentenced to the Marines. And before that, to the Army. So both of you, you have a history of not being elite. But it's just basic psychology. It's not pickup artists. It's just basic psychology that literally you could pick up, read in a book, and oh, okay, I get it. Even being stopped in an elevator. Has this happened to you? You all become immediate friends just by being stopped in an elevator. And you don't have to be stopped in the elevator for a long time. It's so confined. That whole proximity thing really challenges the human psyche. It's so confined. I mean, this is stuff, right? This is easy stuff, easy peasy stuff. This is stuff, like I said, this is stuff that you should just gather some gossiping women, and they will probably tell you everything. Gather 1,000 gossipy women, have them write down all of their observations about humans, and I bet you will pass every psychology test in college ever. Or just have one good grandmother, and she would probably yes. I do not, and this is why black people don't really care for psychology and psychiatry, because we don't need it. We have a much closer bond to each other than white people. This is why when a black guy walks down the street and another black guy is walking towards him, he says, "What's up, my brother?" Because they have a connection, although they could be the strangest strangers ever. Even a thug to a billionaire black guy. Walking down the street, "What's up, my brother? What's up, my brother?" The connection is there. We are much more close-knit than white people. We are. It is unspoken and understood. We don't need psychology because we're much more sharing with each other too. This is why they say, oh, black people are so emotional and active and blah, blah, blah. It's just that we have a connection with each other, even if we haven't been through the same experiences at all. I have never, nobody in my family has ever been through the quote unquote typical black experience. You know what I'm talking about? Or the typical black history that every white person likes to think we all have. No. But here's the deal. I understand intrinsically what's going on with another black person. That's why we don't really need, that's why we don't believe in psychology. We don't need it. And if we ever get so stressed out, all we have to do is go to a black church. Hey, here is a note for everybody. If you ever get stressed out, if your marriage is on the rocks, why don't both of you go to a black church? And I mean a real black church. I mean a one that has a choir that sings for about an hour before the preacher even stands up to speak. And then you have the praise service, which is another hour, and I want you to be involved in it. And then the preacher gets up. This is 2 hours later. The preacher gets up, and he's going to say something, and it sounds like he's talking to you because he's going to say something human observational, because black people are practical about their knowledge. And then when he's done, you're going to mingle around and buy some cake, dry pound cake, and eat some potato salad or a macaroni salad and just simply stand next to a black woman who is going to tell you exactly whose macaroni salad and potato salad you should and should not touch. And you buy yourself a plate, mingle, and don't worry, you could have KKK tattooed right on your forehead, and the black church will still accept you. You could go right up in there, so don't feel uncomfortable at all. Shakaama has given you complete instructions on what to do. Don't feel nervous. Don't look nervous. You'll be fine. And tell me when you two get home, won't you feel relieved and tense-free? You'll probably go in the bedroom after you get home, because it'll be such a euphoric experience for you, such a mental and psychological release for you that you won't even know how did you go through life without experiencing this. I had a friend who was super duper white guy, super duper atheist, and I had friends that he lived with, and he could not stop talking about the black church all week. I'd go over and visit. We went to the black church. Oh my God. You have got to go to this church. And I said, I've been to a black church before. Trust me, I'm good. Oh no! They were singing and praying, and everybody was jumping up, and they were all doing this stuff, and it was just. And I got into it, and I was dancing, and nobody said don't dance, so I was dancing, and they were dancing. We were all having a good time. It was like a party in church. And what it is that's your psychological release. It releases all tension. This is another reason Black people don't need a psychologist or a psychiatrist. And if you really belong to one of those super serious preachers, he will have you do some couples therapy. But otherwise, you can just go in to the church itself, relieve yourself of stress, and go every Sunday and have a ball every Sunday. You could jump up and shout. You could speak in tongues. You could do whatever you want to do, as long as it's quote unquote holy. And make sure you go to a real church. Don't go to one of these churches where the preacher's like bonking all the mothers or the sisters or whatever he's doing. They're running a prostitution ring. Go to one of these real Black churches. You'll know in like 2 seconds as soon as you get, because he'll get on and he'll look like an Eddie Murphy character where he looks lasciviously around the room and goes, all the sisters are looking mighty fine tonight. Anyway, so I'm not a pickup artist. I just have hours and hours and hours and hours and hours of psychology under my belt. And it's just observation. Proximity, danger, you be the hero. And you know what's funny? There's no gender role for that. That story that I told you, that could easily be reversed. And she had humans love to do stuff for humans. I know America's taught you to look out for yourself and all that sort of stuff, but humans on a personal level love to do stuff for humans. Thank you for watching the Shakaama Life Show. I believe I'm about to burn my house down. I need to go check the stove. Bye.